Good morning. Welcome to Morning Maocha, the show where you get to watch me try to wake up with a nice big hot teapot of tea. Thank you for joining this morning. These are a lot of fun. I enjoy doing these sessions, and I'm usually much more awake after than I am when I start. Today we are drinking. What are we drinking today? This is some Manzhuan Big Tree material. So this isn't Manzhuan Old Tree. It's larger stuff, but it's not as old as the Old Tree. But this is really nice. This is nice looking stuff. Check this guy out. Look at that. That is gorgeous leaf material. If there's any issues with the audio, you guys let me know. If the music's too loud or anything like that, just let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna jump right into it. Julia 3695. Good evening from Germany. So it's good. It's evening Maocha for you over there. These sessions are fun because I get a chance to have tea with people in Europe and further east. Are you drinking anything now, or have you given up for the evening? These leaves are a little tricky to load in, so we're gonna take our time. Put the little ones in the bottom. Yeah, thanks for watching, Julia. How was since you've already done the Monday? How was the Monday? Is there anything the rest of us need to be worried about? You guys are living in the future. Give us any heads up, things to worry about. Ty, good morning. Class just ended, just the right time to tune in. Awesome, thank you so much. Are you drinking anything? Have you had anything yet today? Got any tea plans for the day? What's your class load like? You got a lot going on. I sometimes really miss being in school, and then sometimes I'm really glad that I'm not anymore. I enjoyed school a lot. I like learning, but you can learn outside of school. That structure certainly helps. Certainly helps some. Yes. So if you are just tuning in, this is Manzhuan Big Tree material. So this weekend we had not liquid proofs. Excuse me. This weekend we had the oolong drunk. If you guys got a chance to tune in, that's awesome. If you didn't, you can go and check out the stream. It's basically two guys chatting about tea for 2 hours. So if that's your thing, then make sure you check that out. So we also drank a Manzhuan based blend that morning, that evening. All right, give me a sec here, guys. Get this leaf out. It's tricky to get it all in. Get there. Yeah, so in the theme of Manzhuan teas, Alejandro Garcia, what is going on? Good morning. Hope you're all having a nice morning. Yes, well, it is here in Seattle. It is very cold and wet right now, so it's all good. Some of these leaves already got wet a little bit. Yeah, we had a little sun this weekend, but not a whole lot. And it doesn't look like we're going to be getting much more sun the rest of this week. At least we don't have any more snow specifically in the forecast, but there may be some freezing rain. So we're right into the Februarys. I hope you guys have some better weather where you guys are at. Yeah, so continuing the theme with Manzhuan based material, the honeymoon blend that we drank with the oolong drunk Cody Wade this weekend is same place, same year that this stuff came from. So we'll brew this up. It's good stuff. Julia 3695 at the moment drinking a black tea in a new teapot that arrived today. Lucky day, new teapot, new day, new teapot. The last Between Two Teapots episode was fun. It was interesting because listening to your music tea experiences. Yeah, I thought that he had a very interesting and unique perspective on that. I don't really do a lot with the tea and the music pairing, although I've got a little music going in the background on this stream, and I hope it's not too loud. I've actually gotten that feedback a few times. People find the music distracting. So, but I'd kind of like to have a little music in the background on these streams. It's a little ambiance. But yeah, it was really interesting to and I think he's got a post up today. He's going to a post about how he pairs music and tea, and I think that's kind of an interesting and unique perspective. Marina, what is going on? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining in. We're drinking some Manzhuan tea and Ultramags. Hey, there you are, man. Good to see you. Ooh, this is aromatic. I can smell it already. It's got a sweetness like cotton candy. It's nice. It smells like you're at the fair. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Manzhuan. Manzhuan material is a little bit pricier than most, but it has a good provenance. It's a good stuff. It's pretty far away. Nice and green. So Manzhuan is right next to Yiwu. Jugpan, what is going on? Jugpan, your tea filter is on the way. It should be at the freight forwarder pretty soon. I hope that gets over to you relatively quickly. Yeah, so we were talking about Manzhuan. So Manzhuan is one of the original 6 famous tea mountains in Chinese lore and legend, and it is right next to Yiwu. So I think you guys probably all know Yiwu. Everybody knows Yiwu. Yiwu is it's not far as the crow flies from a lot of the other tea mountains. Let's see, you're talking about Jinghong. I'm trying to think, yeah. But it's really high up and it's really high altitude, and like the road to get there is just almost vomit-inducing. Just turn after turn after turn after turn after turn for hours. So even though it's maybe only like a 3 or 4 hour drive from the next big city, that's just a long, twisty road. It's easy to get sick. But once you're up in Yiwu, spend some time up there. You can go to a whole bunch of different mountains around there. And Manzhuan is maybe only like an hour's drive away. Maybe a little more, a little less. Yeah, who all we got here? Ruben K, what's going on? And Marina asks, what are we drinking? Yeah, drinking Manzhuan Big Tree material. This is something we never sold on the site. We never actually bought it, but I've got found a little bit extra left over of a sample from the farmer, and these are the perfect morning Maochas. Perfect excuse to try some of these teas that I've got sitting around that I haven't actually done anything with, and this is one of them. So if you've had our honeymoon, the honeymoon is blended with the old tree version from the same garden. So same farmer, same processing, same garden, same year, same spring. But this is just the big tree material, which is a little bit of a better price. But that old tree material was just so good. It was kind of hard not to pass up on that. That cup is super hot. Ooh, that's bright though. Right there. That'll wake you up in the morning. Javayaz, hi Glenn, haven't had much luck with Manzhuan yet. Much luck, okay. Never got much aroma from my 2 Manzhuans. What usually stands out for you on these 2 teas? Wow, that's a good question. I think a lot of what stands out for me in Manzhuan is more on the emotional side, and that might be hard to describe. Manzhuan teas, just in general, just make me feel really happy when I'm drinking them. I'm trying to think of well, this one's got a super nice sweetness on the floral side in the aromatics. It's got a very nice a very sugary sweetness. I described like the Fairness cup similar to like smelling cotton candy. I don't know, just something that's really bright, a really bright sugary aroma. Is this aged? This is maybe only 4 years old now. 2018, 3 years old. I'm really bad at math. Sorry, yeah, 3 years old. 2018 spring. So the same time frame as our the Manzhuan from honeymoon. But that's interesting, Javez, about your experience with Manzhuan. The flavors I'm getting out of this are a lot more on the floral and the grassy side. It's very enjoyable. It's got a it's very lively in the mouth. It's got a decent amount of body. I don't think it has as much body as the old tree material does. But it just feels really nice. It feels really nice in the mouth. It kind of like pops. It's got some grassy notes in it as well. But yeah, it's keep experimenting with the Manzhuan. But you know, sometimes people just don't vibe with certain areas. There's certain mountains that I don't really necessarily always gravitate towards, but I know there's other people that like them a lot. So it could be that Manzhuan is just not your thing, but you're fine because there's like a billion other tea mountains, 100,000 maybe, less than 1,000. There's a lot, hundreds of other tea mountains that you can easily find is your thing. Yeah, Marina, I'm glad you're finally awake for a live. Well, this is your evening, right? So I'm glad you can. I'm glad you can finally wake up for a nice evening session. Gemma is back in school, so I have a second excuse to wake up super early in the morning to take her to school. So Monday morning Maocha is just a little bit easier since I'm already up and semi-awake. Gary decided to wake everybody up at 5 a.m. this morning for some reason, walking around the house talking about how hungry he was. So I've actually already been up for quite a while. Yeah, most of you guys are already done with your Monday, right? I think that's awesome. I call it like morning Maocha, but most of the people that actually tune in are in Europe. They're done with work, and they're on the other side of the it's not the international date line, other side of the prime meridian. So it's kind of funny. It's morning Maocha, but you should just call it Maocha. Speaking of shows, I really enjoy doing these shows. We've not been doing as many of the Midnight Tea Club lately. I really enjoy doing the Midnight Tea Clubs. It's a lot of fun. But man, it just wrecks us. It just wires us for way too late. Then we fall asleep way too late, and then it just kind of kills our Sunday morning. So we're like, I don't know about this. I don't know about the Midnight Tea Club thing. As much as I really enjoy doing that, I enjoy having tea late at night. This wasn't working. So it kind of left a bit of a void for another show, another weekly tea show. And so I think on Wednesday afternoon we're gonna start a new one, and I'm just gonna call it the weekly show. And it's gonna be pu'er. So because we don't really focus on pu'er in a lot of our other streams. So there we go, pu'er. It's gonna call it the weekly show. It'll be this Wednesday afternoon. I haven't decided yet. Probably like 2 o'clock or something. The reason why I pick that time slot is usually because that's when the kids are napping. So it's a nice quiet time when I don't have to be distracted from the kids. So maybe this Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we'll do another little tea stream. But I'll put some posts up about it, get some announcements out there, let people know. Stephanie, are you in here today? Stephanie sent me a message, and she's just like, "Hey, how long have you been doing these like live YouTube things?" And I'm like 2 or 3 months now. And she's like, "I've missed every one." And I'm like, "Well, don't miss this one." So she's supposed to be in chat. Say hi if you're in chat, Stephanie. Ruben K, anybody tried the koji fermentation on tea? What do you mean by that? Is that like the pu'er type style stuff that they're doing in Japan? I know they're doing some interesting pu'er style fermentation things with their teas. It's showtime! There we go. That's how I'll start it up. All right, you guys, it's showtime. It's time for the weekly show. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. So you guys may not know this, but we like one of our first or second years, we sponsored we sponsored an athlete, a runner, and he just thought he was super into tea and was passionate about like running and being fueled by tea and stuff like that. And so we sponsored him. We'd send him some tea every month in exchange for like some promo and stuff and things. And he jokingly called it his shoe contract, and we all thought that was like that's really funny. Every runner wants a shoe contract, but he wanted a shoe pu'er contract. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was fun. Koji is a type of mold. Okay, I'm not familiar with that type of mold, so I will let you do the moldy experiment on your tea, and let me know what you think of that. Oh, Marina's working second shift. So you're actually still at work. Jeez. Okay. Ultramags, you wondered how long I'd be able to continue midnight tea. I could still do it. I was still up and around that time, but it I don't know, just like we missed it a couple times because we were having like a between two teapots, like late in the afternoon, like 5 or 6, and then to like start up Midnight Tea Club like 2 hours later or something. Just seemed just weren't really into it, and then we kind of got out of the habit of it. And then it's Saturday nights. We're always just I'm packing orders, and Lamu's getting orders done and things, and so it just kind of yep. Ben Moore with the question: is the hidden song "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley? Did you rickroll us? In hindsight, if I was cool, I probably would have done that because that would have been pretty funny. But I did not. It is not Rick Astley. I did not rickroll you guys. And you're not the first person to ask. A lot of people have asked that, and it's a good guess. It's a solid guess. It would be pretty funny. It would be pretty funny if it was, but it's not. Nope. The hidden song is still hidden, and I think we'll probably have to do I think I'm probably gonna have to do a new hidden song this year because we're almost out of it. So come up with a new rapper. Maybe make it a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, obviously we made it too hard the last time, but that also meant that we didn't have to give any tea away for free. So you did. You tried to play it. That's cool. Yeah, there have been a lot of people who have given really solid efforts into it, and some of our customers are taking musicology classes, and they took it to their professors, and we're really trying to work hard at it. The only 2 hints I've ever given are that the sheet music is available on the internet. You can find the sheet music online, and you can hear the song on YouTube. So those are the hints. And honestly, at this point, like, the only way I think if people haven't figured it out by now, it's probably not going to happen. So I think the only way people would really be able to do it, and that depends on your software coding skills. I think if you're able to actually scan the sheet music and do some sort of image algorithm deep web search on all sheet music online, you may be able to eventually like do some sort of a pattern matching, but I don't know if that's in the repertoire of skills available to our customers. But if it is, and you do it and you find it, well, more power to you. More power to you. I was hoping somebody might be able to do something like that, but it's that's a little bit more complicated and compute intensive. But it's not as easy as just shoving it into a tin eye, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I've given you guys too many hints. Ben, what is going on? The YouTube doesn't like you this morning. There we go. There's nothing wrong with that comment. I had to unblock Ben's comment. YouTube didn't like him. Ben tried to make sense of it musically. It kind of sounds Chinese. It's a good guess. It could be. Ruben's probably one of those how didn't I think of that moments. Let's see. Nobody's had luck. Yeah, Jacob. Nobody's had any luck finding the hidden song. The hidden song remains elusive. So that's kind of fun. It's definitely a fun project. And I think, what's that? It was 2016. Jeez, wow, 5 years. So the song has remained hidden for 5 years. So I guess we did a good job. I'm gonna have to come up with a new hidden song. Maybe put a few more notes on the papers for people to figure it out. But yeah, we'll have to do a hidden song reveal party one of these days. I'm trying to think. I gotta think what song we should do. I don't know. We'll see. But it is fun. A lot of people have been having fun with the challenge. Kind of makes the tea a puzzle. Irish Maine loving the deleted message. The message retracted. It said something about Dragon Balls. Good afternoon. It's well, if you want to toss that message back in there, you're more than welcome to. But it is thank you for that, Irish Maine. Which Dragon Balls are you drinking? Joseph Burton, yo, what is going on, man? How are you? You got classes? You get back to classes? You teaching more stuff? You busy? You working in your forge? Joseph Burton is our resident blacksmith. Got any fun projects working on? I've been doing some fun little metalworking stuff in the garage, just trying to play around with some stuff. Excuse me. Late at night after the kids go to bed. Sadly, like the garage is literally like directly beneath both of their bedrooms, so I can't really make too much noise in the garage after they go to bed. But as long as my lathe is not like too squealy, as long as I use enough oil on the metal when I'm cutting stuff, I don't wake them up. But it does stress me out. But I've just been kind of playing around with some little project things and stuff. We did get a 3D printer around Christmas time. That's been a lot of fun. We've been experimenting with things like that. The Gary's got a little tiny little push bike, a little balance bike, and somehow he lost a nut on there, and so didn't have a replacement nut for it. So I sat down with the kids and with some tools and some little measurement things, and I showed them how to measure out the size of the nut we needed, measure the thread pitch, and then we sat down and we modeled it in 3D software and got the thread pitch just right, and then we 3D printed it. And so the kids thought that was pretty fun, just kind of watching something go from like measurements into a graphic 3D model and then get it printed out. And then we put it on the bike and screwed it in, and it totally worked. And so it's just a push bike. It doesn't really need, our little balance bike doesn't need like a huge lot of structural integrity. So I think a PLA bolt should be enough to hold it all together. PLA plus, mind you. Jacob Hamlin, how is the darker depthening coming? Darker depthening, the re-depthening of the darkness. Man, it's a tough challenge for me. I was so excited with how Dark Depths turned out, and I'm just constantly stressed that Dark Depths 2 is just not. God, it's just like it's my nightmares that Dark Depths 2 is just not going to be good enough. And I've got a handful of ideas, and we've got some material here that I've been playing around with, trying to kind of like get a good blend. And it's just like every single one, I'm just like, man, like this is good. Like we can make this a product, but like, is it Dark Depths good? You know, because people we set the bar pretty high, and people are gonna be, if they get it and they're like, man, first Dark Depths was better, it'll just kill me. So we're still working on it. Still working on it. Jugpan, what kind of printer did I got? I went with the absolute like super mega cheap budget option. It was $169 shipped. I got a refurbed Ender 3 Pro. So I figured for that price I could, spend a little bit on the upgrades, get it to work well, and there's a pretty decent aftermarket like hacker community around it. Put my money into the upgrades and into a bunch of filament, a bunch of PLA for it, and just kind of do some experiments and play around with it. So I was I've been more than happy with it. It's done quite well. Yeah, Jacob, the kids are finally like old enough where they can start like helping me with projects, which I'm really excited about. So, you know, as this spring comes, you know, I'll be able to, I've got a handful of motorcycles in the garage that need to get, you know, fixed up so that I can sell them, ones that I don't ride anymore. And so I'll, you know, be able to bring the kids out for that and show them how to like work on bikes and tinker and stuff. The nice thing about like kid hands, they're so tiny. They can get into like little tricky mini engine spots. They can help hold in like little tiny bolts and stuff. So it'll be fun to get them into projects and stuff with us. Joseph's been crazy busy with post-reading break marking in your own coursework. So no blacksmithing. Oh, that's tough, man. You got to get out to your forge one of these days. Just got to hammer on some stuff. Looking forward to spring break. Yeah, when is spring break? We're still a little ways away from spring break, aren't we? Don't stress me out. How soon are we? Jacob is sure that our darker depthening will be amazing because always knock it out of the park when it comes to show. Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate the support and the confidence. So I have not been happy with the first round of experiments. I keep posting like little teaser pictures and stuff, and people are like, "When is it going to be available?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm not even close." So we've got a handful of Maocha, not Maocha, but pu'erh loose that we've, you know, pre-bought for other projects and things, and I'm trying to see if any of that can kind of like work together towards it. But it's none of it's hit it out of the park yet. We'll keep working on it. Jugpan, have you tried printing with weird filaments like wood, metal, etc.? No, man. I've only delved into the 3D printed world just for like the last couple months. So I'm still kind of getting a handle on working in a 3D environment like Fusion 360 and slicing and making mesh objects, and I'm still kind of working on getting my handle on things like that and figuring out stuff. I mean, like I've even you know, like the idea of like the printer like printing for 2 days straight still kind of stresses me out. So if a print takes longer than 6 hours, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. So I mean, I say that I've got a like 24-hour print going right now, but I've been taking it slow. I haven't been experimenting with anything exotic. I have not printed anything with wood yet. Yeah, Jacob Havlin, you crave the depths. Yes, I know, I do as well. And it's funny. So the artist messaged me, and he's like, "Hey man, like people have been like messaging me, asking like if I have any of the tea to buy from them." Or people have been messaging the artist asking, because I gave him a couple of cakes, and I don't know if he drank them or did anything with it, but yeah, people have been messaging him to try and buy his cakes off of him. So that's a good sign. I mean, we certainly got, you know, like everything right on Dark Depths, and so I really hope for Dark Depths too. I'm not just gonna throw whatever out there. The one that we tried last week, the blend that I tried last week was it was really good in the first couple steeps, and then it went nowhere. It was just it had a decent dark color in the first couple steeps, and I was like, all right, this is possible. And then by like steep 3, it was just so light. I'm like, man, where did it go? And tried it again. Yeah, it just was just like, well, this isn't gonna work. This is like a dark puddle. You get to the bottom, and it's just all gone. Miss Katsteen, thank you for joining us. Good morning to you too. Are you drinking anything this morning? We're drinking Manzhuan Big Tree material. If you guys haven't seen, we did film a really nice little video in Manzhuan, and where we kind of I get on a motorcycle and ride up into the hills, work with some of the farmers and the pickers, and take some really nice video of the area. I think we do, at least. I know I took pictures and stuff in there. Let me just double check. I keep saying that, but maybe I know we filmed we filmed a video when we went to the Iwu Goyolin, which is an hour or two near there. But thinking about that, Puddle of Darkness, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good name. Good name for a tea. Puddle of Darkness. All right, let's see if I can find that video. Miss Christine's about to have breakfast. Good, that's smart. If you guys watched last week, you will know that I did not eat breakfast before the tea, and that is generally totally fine. I'm usually more than able to do that, but we were drinking an incredibly strong tea, and it killed me. I had to actually stop, take a break in the middle of the video, and go and eat some breakfast. Just put a little food in my belly because that Laumana, and it was autumn Laumana. That Laumana just wrecked me. All right, let me check our playlists here. What do we got? Playlist Yunnan 2019 tour. Was it that time? No, it was 2018. We went to Manzhuan. No, don't do that. Let's see. Let's go to the full playlist. What is going on? Too many pop-ups on YouTube. I don't like it. Maybe we didn't. We went to Iwu. I guess we did not. We did not do. Oh no, we did. Yep. Yeah, we were in Manzhuan, one of the original 6 famous tea mountains. 7-minute video. Kind of small. You guys can check out Manzhuan. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, Miss Cutstein. Yeah, no, it is, and I certainly enjoy breakfasts. I try to have one every single day, but I usually also drink tea before I have breakfast, and it's nearly always okay. Excuse me. But that Laumana just took me. Jugpan knows Laumana is intense. Laumana is intense, and like, hey, I'm a tea professional. I do this for a living. I should be able to drink some tea. No. Laumana just took me behind the woodshed and gave me a beating. That was a tough morning last Monday. This tea is far more approachable. But no, that Laumana was so good though. It was just so rough. Just really rough on the belly. But I still like it. And that's just the autumn material. Like the full, I mean, you guys have had some of our full, super mega potent Laumana spring. Excuse me. Spring blends. Yeah, no, Laumana's just a face puncher sometimes. And it's not just the bitterness. It's just an overall, all around, just like strong tea. Like, we've got Stone Lion. Stone Lion is Laumana Huangpian material, and man, even that is like, man, that's a tea. It's just like you know you're drinking that tea. That tea doesn't mess around. It's not mess around. Ruben K's depends. There have been periods in my life I just couldn't eat until later in the day. Usually, I don't really eat. I kind of eat like a late breakfast thing. Excuse me, sorry guys. This tea is supposed to be waking me up. Yeah, usually I'll do like a later breakfast thing. I'll kind of eat something like kind of like an early lunch, like between 11 and 12. I'll usually eat first for the day. I don't know. That's just me. Let's see. Miss Catstein, is Altered State made of autumn material? No, there's no autumn material in Altered State. Altered State is 100% spring. Not that it really matters. I think there's some really potent autumn material that could actually have worked in that blend, but it's in particular just spring stuff. Jacob Hamlin says Laumana is delicious though, and I crave it, but I always end up dead afterwards. Yeah, no, I love Laumana material. Laumana material is just some really fantastic material, but it's potent, really potent. You could probably cut the leaf material in half, like the ratio that I go with, the 1 to 15. You could probably do 1 gram for 30 ml. Probably cut it in half and have a session that was as good as any session you would have from any other mountain, just because I think the leaves and Laumana just are so generous. They just give and give and give. Let's see, what do we have Laumana material? We've got a really interesting if you guys like to experiment with stuff, we've got an interesting tasting set we called Split Personality. Some of you guys have probably tried that already. Split Personality is the exact same Laomana material. You get 2 bricks. You get 1 brick of the cake. You get 1 brick of sheng and 1 brick of shou. And so the pu'er is actually made from the exact same Laomana material, and that's really interesting side by side. Laomana pu'er is that's also pretty potent pu'er for Laomana material. It just a lot of the pu'er is can kind of take all of the characteristics unique to an individual mountain and just polish them down to nothing. Pu'er is like the great equalizer. You can take all sorts of different tea and toss it into that wet pile fermentation, and it comes out almost all largely tasting really similar, unless it's a very specific type thing. But Laomana, like the Laomana personality, it's like so strong that like you can't even the wet pile fermentation doesn't obscure it. Yep. So, but maybe we can talk about that during the weekly show on Wednesday. It's gonna be fun. And then Friday we're doing tea with Tea Monk Po, which I'm super excited about. That's gonna be a really good session. Anybody who's a little bit more curious about the I guess the spiritual side of tea, I guess would be the way to describe it. Tea Monk Po is very in tune to that, and specifically facilitates tea tastings to enhance that aspect of tea. And I think a lot of people in the West, including myself, don't really approach tea or don't really understand tea from that perspective. And so it's be really great to talk to him and get his experiences. And he and I are actually going to be drinking pu'er, Black Gold. We're going to be drinking Black Gold together, and I'm going to message him and see if he wants to do it in silver, because I know he's got some silver teapots. He's a big fan and proponent of silver. I got a silver teapot here. Sorry guys, my phone's doing all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I get a lot of spam. Once you advertise your phone with your business, it'll never stop ringing. But nobody ever calls me to buy tea. They just call me to tell me that I won 2 free tickets to a Marriott hotel cruise or something. Jugpan has the Split Personality show, but you haven't tried it yet. Seems like a fun experiment. It is. It's a really fun experiment, and it's really interesting to be able to see what that wet pile fermentation does. I don't think there's a lot of examples of. I mean, we find stuff like that in China all the time when we're working with producers and things that have material before and after, or if we have material and we take it and we buy it and we save it aside. But I think in the customer facing side of things, I think it's a very interesting educational opportunity, and the teas themselves are actually quite nice, which also helps. Jacob Hamlin's been looking at Black Gold for a bit. Black Gold's legit. That's really good stuff. It's one of the first really solid pu'ers that we found and pressed ourselves. 2012 Jingmai Old Tree pu'er. It's almost 10 years old now. Jacob, you need a good show to get you through this winter. Yeah, I think pu'er is definitely the way to go. The winter will get you through the winter. Miss Katstein has recommended Split Personality to new tea drinkers who haven't tried sheng shou tea, but now you need to try some yourself. Yeah, it's not something that I might recommend for people new to sheng and shou, because those are strong teas. But man, if you have those and you like them, then you're going to be well set on your pu'er tea journey. But I think even that Laomana, maybe even the pu'er might be a little intense for a new tea drinker. I think we constructed that set for somebody who was a little bit more set and ready, or a capable gongfu tea drinker who was looking to kind of expand their knowledge. Somebody who already has a little bit of the palate and the vocabulary in place. But you never know what people are. You never know what people are going to like. New people to tea. This tea is still really nice. It still has a decent amount of body. It's still really really lively in the mouth. It's not as full as it was in the early steeps, but it's still quite nice. You know, now I'm looking at this, and you know, I took some notes and wrote down in there how much the farmer was charging us for it that year. That was 2018, and I now I'm wondering why I didn't buy more of it, because it's actually pretty nice, and for the price it was actually pretty decent in hindsight. But sometimes we just run out of budget. Just, you know, we get there, you know, you've got X amount of dollars to try and buy Y amount of tea, and you know, when the dollars are out, you gotta stop buying tea, because, you know, I don't really think numbers like that, and so that's why it's nice to be married to an accountant who has a degree in finance and things like that. So, because I'm like, yeah, let's get this, and she's the one who's like, well, tell you what, let's look at what we've got, let's figure out the products we got to do, because I'm just like, man, if I drink good tea, I'm like, great, let's buy it. And then she's like, well, we've been buying a lot of material, got to start, you know, putting it into some blends. So this is probably a material that I was just like, ooh, yeah, we should get this. And she's just like, well, we just don't have any more money. So what are you going to do? It's probably twice the price this year. It's just how it goes over there. If you don't, the best time to buy pu'er tea is always last year. Always last year. Heidi Berger, do we have a show sample set for beginners? Yes, we do. We have a show pu'er sample set on the site, and it's about 50, 60-ish. But it comes with nice samples across the range of our show pu'er, which is also in itself very educational. Samples are a really good way for beginners to kind of get in and just kind of get their feet wet, figure out what's going on, what they might like, what they might not like. I certainly started off that way. Bought and drank tons of samples, and then, you know, spending time in China at the tea shops, just drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and just sample after sample after sample. You eventually learn what you like and what you don't. There we go. Looks good. Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys got any plans for the week? What do we shoot? February. I know February is the shortest month, but we're almost done. We've only got 1 week of February. We're 1/6 of the way to Christmas, guys. Just, I hate thinking about that. It's like the year, the days, the weeks, the months. They just fly by. Good morning, Lamu. Okay, all right. Lamu's making an appearance. She keeps the kids in line in the back room, so they're not running around here screaming. Jugpan, any Pasha material released this year? I enjoy pu'er from there. I am probably not gonna get anything from Pasha this year. If I was there and I could be there and check out the stuff, that might work, but I don't have any existing Pasha farmers or contacts or relationships that I do, but none that I want to work with, I guess. So I don't really have any existing people that can be like, yes, I know exactly what that material is. Go ahead and send me 50 kilos of something. So yeah, so probably no Pasha material this year. Sorry, guys. Ultrameg's birthday is Wednesday, so you took off of work. Well, look at you, another Februarian. I as well have my birthday this week. Actually, I don't have my birthday this week. I'm a leap year baby, guys. So I had my birthday last year, and so I don't get one this year. So last year I turned 11, and so this year I turned 11 and a quarter, I guess. No birthday for me this year, but we'll celebrate a little bit. I've got a little meat smoker I built in the backyard, and so for special days, I wake up early and toss a bunch of meat in there and start up a fire, and then sit outside with a beer and smoke a bunch of meat. Sounds like how I want to spend my birthday. So I will do that. That's pretty awesome, man. I like finding other Fabrarian birthday people. So happy birthday to Ultramags. Actually, these steeps are quite nice right now. Oh, let's see, where are we at in chat? Weekly, Miss Katstein has weekly virtual meetups on the weekend. What kind of meetups are you working on? Virtual is the way to go. It's funny because I've spent a long time working in virtual software and virtual online meeting spaces and things like that, and so having virtual meetings and video meetings is just I've been doing it for years, more than a decade, I don't know. So it's kind of fun to see it really kind of coming into fruition, this idea of the full virtual workspace. It's just awkward that it took a global pandemic to kind of really get us into a place like that, but I think there's a lot of flexibility that will come through educational opportunities for students that maybe can't come into classes, or remote students far away and things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. Skovson, yes, this is a heck of a beard for an 11-year-old. Well, I am Scandinavian. What can I say? I got Viking in my blood, man. It's my Viking beard. Marina's great aunt's birthday is in February. Look at that. Well, I mean, somewhere probably like 1/12 of everybody's got a February birthday. So, Hunter, you almost forgot. It was Monday, man. I posted it to Facebook. I posted it to Instagram. I posted it to Instagram, such an Instagram daily feed. I posted it everywhere. Yeah, I've been trying to do it on Monday mornings. Tuesday I do some IT work in the afternoons, and so it's a little trickier for me to find the right time to do it. Miss Katstein, tea meetups. Yesterday we tasted sheng. Oh, that's awesome. I love online virtual tea meetings. That's super great. Yeah, I'm a big fan and proponent of virtualization for meetings, especially if you live in an area where you don't have a tea scene. If you don't have a tea scene in your area, you can definitely find somebody online who will want to have tea with you. In fact, Marina and Ruben are two of our customers that I put in contact with each other. They live somewhat near each other, and so they had both told me there was nobody in their area to have tea with, and so I found some people. So I think that's super awesome, super cool. Skovson, you weren't able to get a beard before 22. I'm sorry. Sorry, man. Like I said, it's in my blood. You were just born on the wrong day. But beards take practice anyways. Don't worry about it. There we go. How's it going, Llama? You want to say hi? You want to say hi to the tea chat?
Hello, everybody.
Llama's in the background getting work done. Let's see where we at. Yeah, Jacob, it's the tea. Yes, the pu'erh tea is. I'm sure it helped to build beards. I used to actually when the beard was much shorter, I would still braid it, and I would hang these little weights on it. I had like these little rings, and so the idea I thought was to kind of help it grow longer. And hey, maybe it actually worked. But now it's long enough, I don't actually have to keep the weights on there. I had beard weights. It should be a little side business. Beardweights.com. That's funny. Plus, Viking Heritage is ready to pillage an English village and raid Kunlu for old tree material. Oh yeah, I would absolutely. Well, I don't know if I would raid, plunder, rape, and pillage, but I would certainly and do work on the trading side of things. So I guess, yeah, I guess not all Vikings were the rape, pillage, and plunder type. Some were specifically more focused on trade, and so from the little research I've done, apparently the Norwegian Vikings were a little bit more focused on conquering, and the Swedish Vikings were a little bit more focused on trade and exploration. And so I come from Swedish Vikings. Some records indicate that the Swedish Vikings traded as far away as Jerusalem, which I think is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And so I don't know, maybe I have a little commerce related Viking blood in me. I don't think I'm going to be destroying the village of Kunlun to take away their tea, but I'm more than happy to give them some money in exchange for it. All right, what do we got? Tea friend, Matt, you guys making tea friends? I love it. You guys make tea friends. Meet up. Get tea discords. Get tea chats going. Set up some virtual tea spaces. It's awesome. The more people get together and learn about tea together and make friends, I think it's better for the world. The show raiders, yeah. Tea and music. What's going on? What did you tea and music? What did you think of the conversation about tea and music that we had with Cody, the oolong drunk last week? Was that I thought that was particularly entertaining. It's not a focus that I have, and so it was really nice to be able to talk to somebody who does have more of a focus on music and tea and the pairing and stuff like that. Yeah, I just say I'm Scandinavian. I think it's mostly Swedish ancestry, but if you go back far enough, it's just kind of all a big mix. But my grandparents were Swedish, and they emigrated here in the early 1900s. So they were born in Sweden. Grandparents on my mom's side. So, and then they farmers here in the U.S. in the 1900s. So, but they were born in Sweden. And the other side of the family is just an absolute mix of every other European country. So I've got like 50% Swedish and then 50% all of the rest of it. So I'm probably a little bit related to everybody. I think it's kind of funny. Heidi Berger, there's a fantastic French animation film that blends Northern European and Islamic images. That's pretty cool. It's beautiful. Azure et Azmar. I will have to check that out. Very cool. Viking rune graffitis in the Hagia Sophia in Turkey. Like, how cool is that? I mean, no, like the we have these images and thoughts that like the world was small, and the world was big, but it was also very traversable. I mean, if you've got people in Viking boats and stuff, and I think they actually there's a back channel. You don't actually have to take the ocean to get to Turkey from Scandinavia, right? You can come through the rivers of Eastern Europe and kind of get down into the Black Sea area, right? I think so. I'm not too. I think I was reading something about that. Yeah, tea and music. I could tell tea and music is special to you, and that was a very enjoyable chat. It was fun to be able to talk to him about that. He's very passionate about his music. Speaking of tea and exploration, you've got the famed explorer Marco Polo, who wrote about Yunnan. You know, he was traversed the Silk Road, and the Silk Road itself didn't go down to Yunnan, but the Southern Silk Road via the Tea Horse Road certainly did get down to Yunnan and linked up with the Northern Silk Road. Marco Polo wrote about Yunnan, but he wrote about things that don't actually exist, and so historically speaking, most people think he just kind of made it up or heard stories and was just like wrote about a place called Yunnan, but never actually visited there. He specifically spoke about very unique salt mines, vertical salt mines in different places in Yunnan where there are no salt mines. But within the past couple of years, they have actually found salt mines in the exact places where Marco Polo wrote that they were there. So it actually is entirely possible that Marco Polo did actually get down to Yunnan in his travels, which I think is pretty cool actually. So you think about how large the world was back then, how much time it would take to, if you're in if you're in Europe, get on a horse, travel east, get over the Himalayas, get down into Yunnan. I mean, shoot, it takes us, multiple days of time and travel just to get over there, and we've got the advantage of airplanes. You can imagine how much longer it would be if you didn't. But I don't know, how cool is that? It's still like that lust and passion for the new exploring places that you haven't been before is something that's been in humanity since the beginning. Just the idea that somebody would intentionally choose to travel by land all the way from like Europe down to Southeast Asia is it's a crazy journey. Heidi Berger, humans are awesome. Humans are awesome. We can do a lot when we put our minds to it. Jacob Hamlin's an anthropology major, and it's amazing to see how brilliant and beautiful humanity is. Yeah, it is, and it's really interesting to see how I've always been really fascinated with anthropology. I think even just in the modern anthropological sense of how like community and culture, like in times like this, like strives and thrives online and in creating their own like virtual spaces. And traditionally you would have basically like the people from one area were always like that one area because they bred together and like had like a combined culture. But like now you can travel to like backwoods Kansas and find some guy who's like into the furry community on Second Life or something like that, when he would never have been able to do that before. But you can kind of you can find these places that you belong to and kind of like evolve into them and create culture that isn't tied to a specific location. I think it's really fascinating. I mean, the tea world does the same thing. We're having, how many people am I having tea with here right now? 20, 21? I don't know. We got maybe 20, 25 people watching this right now. This is cool. Like, how many of you have actually met in real life? Maybe one or two. I'm not sure who all's in the chat, but I still consider you my friends and part of this growing online tea culture. I just think it's awesome. Tea and music, interesting. Didn't know that piece of history with Marco Polo. Yeah, I thought that was. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was interesting that we're still continuing to learn more about things like that. I think I've been reading that a lot of people thought that most of what he wrote about was more story based. He was just kind of like telling tall tales. But it's interesting to see some things like that actually give a little bit of credence to. Perhaps his stories were more accurate than we realized. Miss Katstein watched a Curiosity Stream documentary about tea or tea espionage. It's called The Tea War. There is deep history of tea and subterfuge and espionage. It's not always a great and happy history. It's tea is the British didn't know how tea was made. Like they thought it was a very specific plant, and everything that came off of this plant was just it. And the Chinese were very secretive about how it was made. They just wouldn't let anybody know, and that was like the original kind of like copyright, intellectual property kind of thing. And so like they kept that really tight and close to the chest, and they would sell it. They would sell the final product, but they would never tell anybody what plant it came from, how it came from, anything like that. And so it actually took a lot of shady dealings by the British to kind of figure it out and literally steal the intellectual rights on how to make tea and steal the actual plants themselves. There's that all gets tied into like like the Opium War, and all of that stuff is all kind of circulated around tea. Tea's got some deep history. Heidi Berger, can I recommend a good map of China with the tea mountains well marked? I think there's a group map on Google, a Google map where a bunch of people kind of work together to kind of keep all the different spots marked. There are no like good maps. There's a handful of kind of like novelty tourist type ones where, you know, like this mountain, a couple of these mountains that are mapped, but there's really not a good map. And this is something I actually tried to find when I was I'm fascinated with maps. I love old maps. I love cartography, orienteering, like all sorts of stuff like that. And I like kind of collecting old maps. There are no good old maps of China. They either they were lost or destroyed during multiple, you know, like dynasty shifts or multiple cultural revolutions. But it's I specifically spent time, like, I was like, this is what I want. I wanted to like find some really cool like old maps of China and kind of like make a tea table out of them, you know, old maps of Yunnan. And so we would go to like, you know, antique districts and we're talking to people and like, hey man, like, you know, like, do you guys have any old maps of China, and describe it? And the guy's like, you know what? He's like, I got it. And he's like, I know exactly what you want. I was like so excited because I couldn't find anything. So the guy goes back and he's digging. And just it's like a warehouse of like cool old Chinese antiques, and he's digging around. He brings out this box and he comes out. He's like, this is it. So he opens it up and he pulls out like early 90s like gas station style like fold out driving maps of the Chinese highway system. He's like, dude, these are the oldest maps I can find. I'm just like, like, are you serious? Like, that's, I was just looking at Llama. I was like, did we not translate something right? Like, I wanted like old maps. He's like, dude, these are the oldest maps I've got. And it's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe map making is not really something that the Chinese were interested in. I know Llama certainly has a different opinion about maps and directions and things. And she doesn't like looking at maps or thinking about maps. She's more of a go here, go left, go right. And I'm thinking like north, south, like west, east. And she's just like, I'm like, you got to go north. She's like, north from what? I don't know. She gets, we have a lot of miscommunication when it comes to directions and things like that. So yeah, I don't have, I've been trying to find like old Chinese maps, old Yunnan maps. Can't really find any. There was one. So we did, when we were over on the eastern side of China, so we went over to Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou type area. And there's even, you know, like some more established, you know, like antique shops and antique districts and stuff in there. And so we were going from shop to shop to shop, just asking people if they had old Chinese maps. And this one guy's like, yeah, I got a really old map. And so we're like, okay, so we go, and he pulls out like a turtle shell, like a petrified turtle shell that somebody like, I don't know, like 5,000 years ago had like drilled and scratched holes in it that was a map. And I'm just like, okay, like you definitely win. That's an old map. That's the oldest map I've ever seen, but it's not what I wanted, and it's probably like worth more than I'll make in my entire life. But that's super cool. This little scratched in like prehistoric map and a petrified turtle shell. That was pretty cool. That was crazy. Behind in the chat, guys. Heidi Burger, did you say we'll be having tea with Poe? We will be having tea with Poe, I think this Friday afternoon at 2:30. Let me double check the calendar here. Pop it up. Wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, pretty sure this Friday afternoon at 2:30. Portugal and the expansion of China brought back tea from Asia and still our only European country to grow it in the Azores, where I'm from. Yeah, it's that's the funny thing. Most people don't realize that, like, even like the concept of like British tea, like, yeah, actually there is tea grown in Great Britain now, but that's only a relatively new thing within the last within the last 10 years. So when people think of like British tea, like, it doesn't even come from Great Britain, which is pretty funny. But they actually are growing it there now, and ironically, it's quite popular in China. The Chinese love buying tea grown in Great Britain. Like the multiple levels of irony there are not lost on me. Jacob, yes, we will meet one day at a tea festival for sure. If you guys, if a tea festival is open and we are in a post-pandemic world, I would be more than happy to sit down and have tea with you guys. And yes, Paul Rosenberg, Tea Monk Po, 2:30 Friday afternoon. So he's given us at least an hour of his time. He and I will sit down and have some tea together in a live stream, and we can talk to him. And you guys can check out his absolutely incredible tea space that he has down in Portland at the Heavens School of Tea at the Wonderland. It's truly incredible space, and if you guys actually have the chance to go down there and have tea with him sometimes, anytime we're in Portland, we always stop by and have tea with him. Lucifagus, if you're the only one writing tall tales, they become historical facts. That's true. That's a fact. Chris Nelson, China History Podcast. There's a pretty interesting 10-part series on the history of tea that led me to get interested in it as drink. It is a fascinating history. The history of tea is very fascinating. They've been drinking it for a very, very long time. Javez William from Farmer Leaf has some great videos explaining the different terroirs in Yunnan. Great info. Yeah, William has a very interesting perspective given his educational background and his history. I've sat down and we've had tea with William in Yunnan, and he's very, very knowledgeable and has a lot of really good information out there. He's a nice guy. Ollie Twist says in Portugal there's a museum of do you mean Qin or China? China from the 1500s. I'm not, if you're talking about Qin, I'm not entirely certain what that means. But there's a old museum there. Heidi Berger, fascinating about the maps of China. Found so many great antique maps in Paris. There's just the idea of map making. Maybe it's just or at least map making the way we think of it in the West is more of a European style thing. Even just, like concepts of, cartography and things came from Europe and expansion and, if you want to say colonialism, but just the trying to find and build order in a complex world is a very, very European thing. Taking the globe and breaking it up into hours and minutes and degrees and longitude and latitude, and taking this incredibly giant complex thing and just breaking it up into tiny little manageable chunks, and then documenting and recording it. I've got I made a coffee table out of a really cool map. I see it sitting over here. It's I forget what it is. It's a known popular map. I just bought the map on Amazon or something like that, a reprint of it, and kind of laid it into a coffee table and covered it with epoxy rosin. But it's so much fun with the kids because I'll teach them different areas and stuff. And of course the map is entirely not entirely to scale, and things are missing, and the whole west coast of America is just like a big blob of mystery. They don't even have Australia on the map yet. It's just called the Great Unknown Land. I think they call it Magellanica or something like that. It's not even written or anything down there, but it's just great mystery abounds down here. It's a map that's got sea monsters and stuff drawn into it. But that map was probably a 1600s map, maybe 1500s, and it's just kind of fascinating that they actually had that much of a relatively well-known grasp of the world even back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Just fascinating. Hunter asks, a local person I was talking with about purchasing a table is planning to build a tea table as a 3D topical model of mountain ranges in China. Yeah, it's really popular these days to take a laser cutter, a wood laser cutter, cut out all the topographical features of a mountain range, and then submerge it in epoxy rosin. You could do a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff with something like that. I've thought about doing something similar, but I just don't have enough time. But Yunnan is certainly mountainous, especially you're right there on the foothills of the Himalayas. So it's all sorts of lots of really cool mountain features. So a topographical map of Yunnan. We actually did. I found a topical map like an actual plastic printed one like you'd find in a school. And I thought about buying it and bringing it back, but there'd be really no way for us to bring it back in our luggage without it getting crushed. But it was pretty cool. Beauregard read that maps have been considered military intelligence in China. It's possible. Like I said, like Lamu never grew up with maps. She grew up with directions and like go to that place, then go to that place. Go to that place and take a left. And so, when she's like doing her map on her phone or something like that, she's the one who's always got it oriented with the direction that she's facing, and then that just like thoroughly confuses me because like I'm strictly thinking like north, south, west, and east, and I always want to be holding the map knowing where north is, even though I may be like facing a different direction. So like I'll grab the map from her, and then it's thoroughly confusing to me because it's all like flipped around and shifted for locational direction perspective. But it's just interesting how different people perceive directions and maps and stuff like that. Yeah, no, Miss Cutscene, so much for pulling over and asking for directions. Yeah, it's not great. It's really hard to find places in China, and people also aren't really super nosy about other things in their area, and they may not actually know where things are. We'll generally can find like the right neighborhood that we need to be in if we're trying to find like a tea pressing factory or we're meeting somebody. But then once you get there, like you'll be asking people who may even live like right next door to the person, like, hey, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And I'm like, I have no idea where it was. I'm just like, so it's very hard to find things. They actually have fairly decent software in China now on phones where you can easily find stuff. But places like Kunming, where you've got like 3 or 4 levels of streets and roads and stuff interchanging, the software doesn't know what road you're actually on, and so it'll give you horribly wrong directions all the time. Yeah, Hunter, that's pretty cool. You put the teapot on Ui and cups on another mountain or valley. That's pretty awesome. I actually like that idea a lot. Let's see where we at in chat. Yeah, Beauregard, I totally get that. Yeah, if you don't know what a country looks like geographically speaking, it would be harder to invade it. I can see historically speaking that maps would be absolutely considered a military intelligence. It's a good point. Jugpan, what is my tea and coffee history? I always drank tea and coffee. Never really vibed with tea. I had some really nice tea experiences as a kid in Australia. I really remember like drinking British style tea as a kid in Australia and thinking that was really good stuff. But then I came back and just never was able to replicate that experience in the U.S. and not really knowing how or anything about it. I was too young. But living in the Seattle area, I mean, you can't get away from the coffee scene. Started off, probably started drinking coffee far too young. My parents were into coffee, so I would drink coffee at social events, church and stuff like that. They would always have like a coffee pot out, and I'd go over there and want to be like the adults, pull up a cup of Black Joe, and drink a lot of coffee as a kid. And then coming into Seattle and getting into like the espresso scene, like the lattes and the cappuccinos and the Americanos, and like that whole thing was kind of fascinating, very confusing. The first time I went into like an actual like coffee shop in Seattle, like not even knowing anything about like espresso or like if I want my cappuccino half and half or like I don't know, like I would just get so confused. So it was really fun to be able to like learn and experiment with all that stuff. And then realizing at the end of the day that like I didn't want to just drink that much milk. It was just like there's just so much milk in there, and being really interested in the actual like coffee experience got me into more like a single origin stuff, like roasting my own coffee beans at home, not adding milk or sugar, just like making like really awesome like black coffee. And then eventually finding pu'erh tea. It was just kind of like that was like the long journey, and so here I am. Yeah, Heidi Berger says, colonialism was definitely a driver of cartography. Yeah, absolutely. I can totally see that. But that's how my brain works. I love maps. I love seeing maps. I love compasses and orienteering and all of that stuff. I find it really fascinating. I've got my orienteering merit badge from the Boy Scouts. I used to love doing orienteering contests in the Boy Scouts. You know, when you just given a compass and a series of directions and things and distances, and you got to kind of run around and find stuff hidden in the forests and things. I was always loved doing that. What is my favorite tea region outside of Yunnan? I don't know, man. Yunnan's it. I love Yunnan. Nothing really grabs me the way Yunnan does. I've had a lot of really good experiences with teas outside of Yunnan, but it's just Yunnan. That's it. Yunnan's it for me. I don't think it gets much better than that. I can't even say favorite because I don't really drink anything outside of Yunnan. I mean, I've tried it, you know, for professional curiosity, but I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. Longjing's not bad. Like if you're actually in Longjing and you're trying some like fresh made stuff, and I've had some really good, you know, like memorable experiences when I've been actually at tea producing areas, but I don't think I'll ever really sit down and be like, man, I'm gonna go try and find some Longjing today. But that's just me. Thai guy, borders and fighting over land. If you want to just look at Europe, would be my guess. Why they were more keen on map making when looking at pre-colonialism maps. Yeah, it's I just thought I'd be able to find something like that in China. You know, I thought I'd be able to find like some old map, and I found a handful of some interesting ones online, but they just seemed really maybe pedestrian's not the right word, but they just seemed kind of boring. Whereas like I just love how like this map that I'm looking at on my table over here. I can't remember the name of it, or I posted on maybe I can find it and post a link to it. It's just such a fascinating map because there's so much like, you know, like scientifical stuff that's actually also drawn into the map, where they're like talking about, you know, like, oh, the different you know, rotation of the sun, and they're talking about like eclipses, and it's just a really fascinating map. And so I was just kind of hoping that there might be something like that in China, and I did find a couple interesting ones, but nothing that really captivated me the way I was expecting, I guess. So maybe I just need to shift my expectations. Heiberger, when you first moved to France, you're completely unhinged by the difference of scale. You grew up in the Great Plains towns in France are right next to each other in comparison. Yeah, if you grew up in Middle America, the scale of Europe is really small. You don't think of that. And you know, I'm certainly spoiled being here in the Pacific Northwest and having, you know, like the Cascade and Olympic Mountains as my, you know, like literal playground, you know, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres of public wild mountain land that you can explore as long as you're capable of traipsing through it. Thinking of, you know, like maybe moving to a different state and looking at that state and realizing that like, wow, there's like, where would you go? There's no like untouched land. You know, you look at the density of, you know, like the eastern half of the U.S. and versus like the West, and so like my brain is thinking it wants like big giant like expanse. Yeah, you get to some place like Europe, and I know what you mean. That the unhinged by the difference of scale is a good way to describe it. Jugpan, have you tried nitrous brewing tea? I have not. I've been wanting to experiment with that, but I don't have the capacity at home right now to do any nitrous stuff. Javayas, have I ever tried Thai sheng? Yeah, I've tried sheng pu'er from Myanmar, Burma, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand. I've tried a handful of them. There's some really interesting stuff, but we're probably maybe like 10 years away from when things like that would be quality-wise in comparison with what's coming out of China. and the cost for what you pay is not does not match the quality in my experience and in my opinion. Like I said, I've tried a handful of them, which were really nice, and then just seeing how much it costs, this is like, man, like I could go to this village in Yunnan where these people have trees that are much, cared for much better, and it's actually, the tea is processed much better, and I'd be paying like half the price. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on, and it's interesting that they're especially places in like Vietnam and Laos where they're specifically trying to like make their own identity around tea, as opposed to just selling it for nothing and shipping it into Yunnan and having it sold as pu'er. So I'm happy that they're able to start doing that now, which is smart for them. Your shells make me nervous. What if there's an earthquake or something else shaky or accidental? I think it's fine. It's a good thing to worry about. We do get earthquakes here in the Pacific Northwest on occasion. We are technically due for the big one, but I don't know. I think if we've got an earthquake that's big enough to destroy some of my teaware, I think I've got bigger concerns. So I'll just handle it as it comes. Java has a feeling when you're drinking great, not pu'er tea, but there's always missing something. That's exactly the way I describe it. That's exactly how it is. It's even how it is when I'm in Yunnan and I'm drinking like a white tea, and I'm like, this would just be so much better if it was sheng. I think that a lot. I'm like, like this tea's really good, but it just it should have just been made into sheng. It would have been better if it was sheng. I don't entirely feel that way for black tea. Black tea in Yunnan, the Yunnan Dian Hong, good stuff, quality stuff. Going to be trying to do some black tea offerings this year, so we're also really excited about that. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like I'll or even it comes down to like longevity, like have some really nice Longjing style like gong fu experiences, and then like like 2 steeps later you're like, is that it? Are we gonna have any more of this? And they're like, you want to brew some more leaves? And I'm like, is that all the leaves got? Like three steeps? Really? We're done? It's like, so. But I've had some really nice tea experiences on the lakes of Lake and Longjing in the summertime, grandpa style. Just toss a couple leaves in there and just kind of sit and drink hot tea in the hot, humid summer, sitting next to the lake. Just really gorgeous experiences, and certainly like that. But yep, like I said, I don't know. I'm just a poo person, just a poo guy. Where and how much would it cost to get a free flowing table yours? Realistically, you're probably gonna have to build one or have a local maker build one. They're no longer legal for export from China, which is good because the Chinese woodsmiths, the wood carpenters, the wood people, they were just cutting it all down. They were like, just, any tree they could find, like chop it, making tea tables out of it, making far more tea tables than demand, and which is definitely a waste. Yeah, it's probably the best thing to do. Take some good pictures, some video of stuff. Try and find a local wood maker who can kind of do something, carve it out for you. Probably your best bet. Shipping and cost, I mean, they're relatively not expensive. Like if I were to buy one like this, new in China, maybe $500 to $1,000 US for something this size. But to actually ship it anywhere, it'd be like 4 times that. It would just be prohibitively expensive. Yep. Heidelberger, going to check out our sample set. Got to go. Thank you for joining the tea. Thank you so much. Yeah, check out the sample set. Email me if you have any questions. I'm pretty easy to get back. Sometimes it takes me a couple days, depending on if I'm busy or not. But I usually try to respond to emails relatively quickly. Let me know if you have any questions. What's your favorite sheng region? That's such a good question. I I am quite enamored with Kunlu Shan. I like Kunlu Shan. I kind of always have. I don't know why. It vibes with me. The Kunlu Gushu material that we got a little bit of to sell this year, easily the best tea that we sold in multiple years. I would prefer drinking that to the Laobanzhang Old Tree that we sold with single sessions a couple years ago. That Kunlu, that Kunlu Gushu, man, such good stuff. Just thinking about it right now, such a luscious, lovely experience. Second on my list is probably Hakkai. I like Hakkai a lot. I think Hakkai offers a pretty good value of experience for the dollar. There's a lot of really high quality tea material available, old tree material available in Hakkai. Hakkai's gorgeous. Really like Hakkai. We put that in our Danger Zone cakes. So tasty. Really good stuff. Yeah, that's me. Do I have a favorite Dianhong? Well, I mean, so we sold a couple on our site last year, stuff that we helped Soya's Chai source and blend. And I think of the three, we sold, like they had an Air Force, Navy, and Army blend was how they wanted to market it. And Air Force was really good. That was a really high end Dianhong. It's amazing what you can get. There's some really awesome, super high end old tree Dianhong material, which is just absolutely incredible. And Fengqing area, I think, is where does a lot of the stuff. A lot of black tea stuff, but I mean, technically, black tea can be made out of any material. But sometimes the experience, if you just go to like a sheng pu'er processing place, they might not know how to make it into black tea, and so some of the varietals I think work a little bit better for black tea. But guys, this has been an awesome morning. Been about 90 minutes. I think I'm finally awake and ready for my Monday, and hope you guys are as well. Or if it's evening time and you're in Europe, I hope you guys have a good evening. I am, like I said, going to try to do a Wednesday stream, Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna call it the weekly show with Crimson Lotus Tea. We're gonna drink some show pu'er. And chat about wet pile fermentation, answer your guys' questions on that if I can. And I do appreciate everybody who tuned in. This is always fun. I really enjoy meeting and having tea with you guys. So thank you again, and have a good week.